Hello everybody, welcome back. So just to let you know, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so that's why I sound extra croaky, if that's what the word would be. So we'll just get straight in on the XRP scenario, shall we? So first we'll start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin holding this area. The major area of support, so we're still bouncing from it. To be honest with you, it looks okay to hold at this level, and if it fails to hold, the next support is currently down at 49,300. So a fair drop, but also not the end of the world, and that's where a decent bounce would be for Bitcoin and probably for everybody. But we're not bothered about that today. We're going to talk about XRP. So XRP yesterday, looking at the 4 hourly, came down for a golden cross retest on the 200 simple moving average. A nice reaction from it. It wasn't isolated for XRP. This is generally the case for a lot of altcoins, having their 200 exponential or simple retested, and in this case it was the simple moving average that got retested. So far the bounce has been pretty sweet. And the last 4 hourly candle closed above the 200 exponential, the 10, and the Bollinger Band Center, and now we're getting a reaction on the 10 exponential, pointing to further upsides as of this very moment in time. It's also worth noting that indices, so Nasdaq, S&P, was still closed very high. They had a very small sell-off at the end of the day, but not big enough to influence the market over the weekend, which was my fear when I was talking on the Patreon live stream last night. That was my fear, that we're going to end the week with a sell-off, considering that everything was at new all-time highs basically, and we only had a very measly small sell-off. So as far as I'm concerned, today should be a party day really, because stocks look still quite good. And whatever they look, then it leaves the weekend for crypto to play really. So this looks okay. And now, if we close another candle body like this or higher for XRP, which is anywhere above 54.50, well 54.70 really, basically above all moving averages other than this 50 simple, we'll be looking to move our way back up to the 56, which is a major resistance area. If we go back in time, we can see how historical the 56 actually is. We've got big tops over here, big tops over here, big tops over here, big supports over here, big supports over here. So it's not a nothing area. On a horizontal time frame, it's a big deal. 56 is a big deal. It's also 200 exponential and more or less the simple as well on the daily. So big deals everywhere for 56. Now, if you break 56, to be fair, we're more or less plain sailing. There's only one major thing to deal with after that, which is the 58 cents, which is your weekly your weekly 20 moving average. So that is it, and that will be the big deal. And this is the thing that we're kind of waiting for, really, for XRP. On the higher term time frames, it still looks quite good. Very attractive chart, really. I know this might not sound it because people are always expecting so much from all crypto all the time. But when you look at this, this is a relatively constructive chart, right, all the way back since the dump from FTX. And from where it came from to where we are at this very moment in time, it's not amazing. We have had decent rallies in amongst all of this. But now what we're looking for is an organic rally based on this higher term time frame chart, which is, again, a very good looking chart. Golden cross, retest, 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 retesting all over the place. So basically, it's quite generous in the way that it's allowed for us to get back in at this area. I'd say it's an accumulation area. If it wasn't for the market potentially looking down the barrel of a drop, a consolidation, then this is a chart that you would take seriously and buy into, really, for the higher term timeframes, for the long term, really, for an investment purpose. I agree with that, to be honest. I'm not just saying that. It's not like my channel is going to influence anybody to put in trillions of dollars that will pump this chart. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the reality of what we're looking at here, which is a good looking chart. So we are pending a big move, but the move is only going to take place above 58 cents, and then when you get above 58 cents, I can tell you now that is plain sailing, and it will very likely explode this chart. So we're just going to have a little look at the XRP to Bitcoin pair, which is, again, wrecked city, but it's still offering something pretty sweet. So when you have a look at higher term time frames for anything and you use the money flow index to try and spot lows, normally a single drive of bullish divergence is enough to give an educated guess as to where a low might be. And at the moment we have bullish divergence of one drive on the money flow index, suggesting that around this area could be the place that we bounce from. And if you do a measured move to what would be a death cross retest, the 200 simple gives you a 70% move, exponential gives you a 130% move with its Bitcoin pair. Whatever that translates to on dollars, different story, but that's the top target based on what we see on this chart, 131% move. So that would be more than doubling whatever Bitcoin you flip into this. Now, if you think about the major supports on this chart, we've already broken down below a major one, and we've come into what I would consider to be a very nice zone, really. All of this down here is like the anomaly area, and I'd call this like an absolute steal for XRP based on what this chart has always done. We've basically stayed within a range on XRP with its Bitcoin pair for what feels like eternity, and that is the top range, which is above the 200 simple and exponential, sorry, at basically, give or take, 2,700 sats, and the low being around 1,366 sats. And whether you trust this or not, what we're at right now is, I would consider to be massively oversold and ready to move back up again. So buying anywhere from this trend line would give you an educated guess that at some point, based on the weekly, that we would move back up, giving you a 100% move, and anything below here would be, well, I mean, like I say, we're being offered something here for the higher term timeframes, an opportunity to double the amount of Bitcoin that you own using XRP as the tool to do it. That's the best way to look at it, I would say. On the weekly, so this is something you've got to recognize. I'm talking about a weekly chart here, not a 3-minute chart. So by the time this video is finished, don't expect to have doubled your money. That's not the case. We're talking around a weekly, so it could take weeks, months, many months. It's a weekly chart, but we do have that one drive of bull div on the money flow index. So let's have a look at the other times we've had bull div. So there's a significant low here and a bull div here, and this basically gave us obviously this low that could have been bought. We had a rally, and again, never think about buying the money flow index just because it's low. You can always go lower. But the bull div gave us this low, this candle body before the big pump. Maybe it was a coincidence, maybe it wasn't, but it was a read and it was given to us. Anything else? Any other bull divs around here? Here's a bull div. So that was the low. In fact, this is bull div. Bull div everywhere. I'm just highlighting these for fun, really, just to show you this is not an absolute guarantee that it's going to work out. So we got a low here, and it did move, and then a higher low here, which gave us this period where more or less kind of where we're at right now, that led into this rally. Again, that was a double your money, double your Bitcoin worth. We go back many times. We'll see it frequently, not just on XRP, but pretty much on most things. I mean, here's a bull div as well. 1, 2, and gives us that little rally. Another bull div here to here. That one, it's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. So anyway, I'm just pointing out to you that it's not just XRP that does it. It's basically all charts that do it on a weekly. This is what we used to navigate lows on Bitcoin on the higher term time frames to try and work out whether or not bottoms have formed. Same thing works with tops, which is why I have been and still are a little concerned about the bear div that we have on Bitcoin's money flow index on a weekly. Anyway. So, there's evidence that this is ripe for the picking, in that we are in what is, I suppose, considered to be an oversold zone for XRP on the Bitcoin pair, with a move of between 70 to 130% on its Bitcoin pair, so you can translate that to whatever you want. Now, I know what I'm talking about here. XRP is not in everybody's good books. No one likes it, but it does move. We can't deny that. When it moves, it moves aggressively. You can't deny it, right? And so, like I said, for the tether pair, we're battling small increments until 58 cents has been taken. Once 58 cents has been taken, we can rip pretty high. And we've looked at the Bitcoin pair, and there's evidence on the weekly to say that actually this rip can take place anywhere from now, really. It really honestly can. Whether it will is a different story. Technical analysis isn't a crystal ball telling you the future. It's letting you know that there is evidence to suggest that actually it might work, but there's absolutely no guarantees that it will. There's evidence on the chart to say that it might. So let's take it down a notch then for those who want to get rich immediately by the end of the video. Let's have a look at the shorter term time frames, any setups and signals on this. So other than the bounce, which has taken us up to our first major resistance, which is the 54.5 cent zone, 200 exponential on the 1 hourly chart, which is what we're looking at now. Momentum does appear quite good so far, but that's a resistance. Then there's a resistance above us at 55.23. And obviously then the 56. So there's no pump signals on the Itchy Cloud or anything like that, because we've been trending down slowly and steadily now for a little while that we're not going to get any pump signals. We have narrowly avoided a short signal though on the 4 hourly, so it's kind of neither here nor there. It is a matter of battling these increments to get our way above 56 and then 58, and then from there Pump City. So I mean, there's obviously a few ways you could decide to trade this. You could decide, all right, I'll tell you what, I'll just buy into it now based on what you said on the weekly. That seems reasonable to me. You know, I'll flip 1 Bitcoin, hopefully I'll turn it into 2. That's fine. I'm not your financial advisor, so don't do that because you think it's something that I've said. You obviously got to work it out for yourself if you think it's a risk worth taking, because everything's always a risk in crypto. But you know, that weekly Bitcoin scenario matches the big moves that we've seen in the past. But, you know, based on the tether pair, you could think, all right, well, if you're saying that 58 cents is the catalyst, then maybe I should wait till 58 cents, and I could agree with that too. So hold off if you wanted to. That's completely understandable. Hold off until your 58 cents has been reclaimed, and then maybe see if you can take part in the other portion of the pump, if it happens at all. It might not, it might do, I don't know. I believe it will, but 58 cents would be the catalyst. Breaking and closing above 58 cents, arguably on any time frame, but for me, if you're looking for a larger move, you need a higher term time frame. So maybe something like a minimum of a 4 hourly, but probably more like a daily. Then yeah, 58 cents should be the catalyst to see a big explosive move. And if we're working out on the Bitcoin pair, that XRP can do between 70 to 130% move from where we are at right now on its Bitcoin pair. Remember that, and on its Bitcoin pair, we'll move this to a weekly, not a 4 hourly. Then where's this going to take us? Let's just imagine that Bitcoin stays basically static around $51,000. So we can measure a move out here. 70% move takes us 74%. Move takes us roughly to the previous local high, the wick high, which is into the 90s. That's cool. 130% from here would take us to areas of about 120. We'll call it 120, shall we? So what's around these areas? Any major resistances or tops? Sort of is actually around 122. We've got candle bodies and wicks that sort of match this area, including this breakdown zone. So shall I call this video XRP going to explode to $1.22? Will that help people click on it and then watch the video and then realise that what I've said does have some relevance to the title? It's not just clickbait, but you know, I wasn't necessarily tricking them into watching it. There's evidence to that price target. Yes, I think it's justified to say that. I will use that as the clickbait because it's not one of... You know, if you're rating XRP to YouTube and you've seen the mad stuff that comes out, it's crazy. $10,000 per coin in the year, guaranteed. What are you talking about? How? What are you talking about? So, yeah, you can call it clickbait if you want, but at least I've brought some evidence to the table based on a chart to suggest that this is not the most likely scenario, but a possible scenario based on charts. Well, other than that, there's nothing much more to say. Like I say, 58 cents is a big deal for XRP, but if you're looking over the long term, anyhow, I don't see it too much of a problem. Just to buy randomly now and hold towards the well, it's just like I say, buy and invest or hold it. That's not a big problem. Bitcoin currently sitting at around $51,000 is okay, but there is a realistic possibility that we do come down to 49,300 or 400. That again is absolutely, there's no problem with that because we should bounce from there anyway. The last thing I'll show you is the old Bitcoin dominance. So based on this, we'll go to a daily to start with. So the trend line that we've had, although it was a little messy, has proven to be a resistance, and we've come back down. And I would imagine that we do form a bounce on this chart around 51.76%. If we break down from there, then actually things are going to look very good for altcoins, because this would be a breakdown of a bullish chart. So this would actually be the end of this chart's bullish momentum on the daily. But if we take it to a weekly, which I always like to do, you know, we do have a support that exists at the moment, which is your 20 weekly, and since the dominance chart reclaimed that, we've used it as a big building block to catapult ourselves back up to new local highs. So big one here, push, 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 push. Bit messy around here, but reclaimed, push, 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 push. So if we break down from here, it will emphasize the move down, and we're looking into the 51s really. You start to lose 51s. You can, at that point, I would say, consider this to be an alt season of relative significance, and you might see some really big moves. And I'm talking, you know, obviously the XRP move would be a standard, but other altcoins, smaller ones, you know, doubling, maybe even tripling in value. That's what you'd be looking for. But that takes confidence in this chart. That also ignores the fact that stocks might be popping a bubble at some point soon, or consolidating into at the least. So it's not, you know, you can't look at this chart and go, it's definitely going to happen. Absolutely 100% going to happen because the dominance chart suggests that it will. Not really. There's so many other things that you need to look at these days before trading any kind of crypto. The whole of crypto is more or less tied into stocks. It kind of always has been, but now more than ever. So we'll sit back and watch and wait and see. But I'm relatively hopeful about it. I'm 30% in the market now. So, yeah, it's not like I've got no skin in the game. I think 30% is a significant amount of skin to have in the game while Bitcoin is trading at $51,000 bloody dollars. I can tell you that. So, look, if it doesn't work out, it's not too much of a big deal, because I don't mind holding XRP for an entire cycle, especially this time round, while we've been blessed by the SEC failing to actually win yet another case. So XRP is kind of off the leash, and love it or hate it, it does do big moves. I would expect a new all-time high at some point over the next couple of years. So if I do get stuck in an XRP position, and I've bought between 50 and 55 cents, I don't see that as a bad buy, and I can hold that. But I actually think that there's a very good chance that we do see this big move at some point very soon, maybe even starting as soon as today. Not that I'm saying that it will start today, but like I say, as soon as 58 cents is reclaimed, powerful moves, and that's also given to us by a potential big bounce on the on the Bitcoin pair, and the continued rejection on the Bitcoin dominance. So again, there's evidence enough to suggest that XRP can make this move between 70 to 120%, but there's no guarantees. So keep those kidneys inside your belly, because if you sold one on the darknet to buy XRP, that is absolutely, I didn't tell you to do that. But if you did do it, then good luck, because below 70 at 58 cents you'll need the luck. Above it, you might not need as much luck. You should have the free range to make that move. But XRP at this stage in the cycle, I don't think is ready to make a new all-time high. So wherever we go to on those targets, do seriously consider selling and taking that profit, because XRP loves to pump and it loves to dump. It's always loved that. And if we do get this pump, which I think we will, I'm pretty sure we'll get the dump as well. So this isn't the one this is not the pump that will take you to new all-time highs, although it can take you to a significant high, which I think the top target is around 122-ish, into the 120s at least. Right, that'll do for now. I'm going to take some more lemon sip, and I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.